I always love these few awkward moments. In all the years I've been doing live streams, I still have these few awkward moments at the beginning. It's just one of those things. So hello out there, Purple Door Witches and anyone else that happens to be joining us. I know that it is Wednesday, September 4th, and this is 420-ish Tea and Tarot. And you know, I just told Grim that I think that I'm going to start bringing my trinkets with me too, because I really enjoy reading the bones. I carry a little jar of trinkets around with me that I read for folks. And hell, why not? Let's add a new dimension to this. I would love to read some trinkets for you if you have a chance. And so come on in, have a seat, get yourself, you know, in a relaxed state of mind. And while we're waiting for other folks to come in, I think I'll just kind of close my eyes and center myself as well. Won't you join me? You know, I'm just going to roll right into this blessing because it feels like we can't get enough of this right now. So close your eyes, relax, take some good deep breaths on your own. Take some good deep breaths. Make it deep enough and loud enough you can hear yourself. Don't worry who's listening or who might hear you take a deep breath. Honestly, no one else is paying attention. And if they are, shame on them. They should be paying attention to their own self. Unless, of course, you have children around you, and then you might want to tell them why they're taking a good deep breath. We take good deep breaths to clear our energy. We take good deep breaths to, and what I mean by clear our energy, you take a deep breath and the air that you don't need gets exhaled, so it's released back to the universe. Breathing is as much a process of cleansing and clearing as anything. I mean, it is like something that we do minute by minute, second by second here in this realm. Breathing is so important. And it's funny, in an ironic kind of way. I'll tell you a little story. Back when I was a younger woman, and by the way, Kimmy just popped in here. I saw her face. Kimmy King, she's here, and she and I were talking about asthma earlier today. Some of you have probably heard me say that I no longer want to claim my asthma. I don't want it to be my asthma. I want it to gently lift itself away. I don't want to have that condition afflict me anymore. We were talking about that. And really, it does make a difference, the words that we use with one another, even within our own self-talk, the way we speak to ourselves, especially if you find yourself, if you do something silly or maybe you didn't think things through all the way. How many of you actually like scold yourself or condemn yourself or call yourself a name if you do something wrong or bad? Grim did that yesterday. It was kind of out of the blue, and I said, Grim, he called himself a name, and he goes, nothing like a little self-deprecation.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, anyway, I am so glad you're here with us. I don't remember what the hell I was going to say a second ago before I was going to do the prayer, the blessing. But That doesn't matter. We're moving forward. I would love to. Oh, yeah, we were talking about deep breathing, right? The whole cleansing and clearing thing. It's so important to do that. When I was a younger woman and I would go, and I'm talking like in my 20s, 30s, I would go to a meditation or a class or whatever it was that I was doing on my metaphysical journey. And when the instructor or the person leading the meditation would say, you know, take a deep breath, fill your lungs. I had such a hard time with that. It's not that I couldn't take a deep breath. I just didn't want people to hear me breathing deeply. And I knew this is a shadow box. This is a shadow box on my part somehow. And Kimmy, I haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm still working on it. I know it has to do with being much younger, and when I would have an asthma attack, especially at school in the 1970s, they really didn't know how to treat it. So I would often be very consciously aware of how loud my breathing was. I didn't want to draw attention from the other kids. I didn't want to be called squeakers or wheezers or anything like that. And so I learned to keep my breath quiet. And it's kind of ironic when you think about how something as subtle and simple as that can really turn into a much larger issue when you're in your 50s. When Grim and I started doing meditations online, and we would say, you know, take a deep, calming breath. And I would do it. I don't deep breathe much anyways. My breaths are rather shallow compared to Grim's. He can go on forever. Me, I'm like tiny little deep breath, but I still get there. But I find myself still having to be okay with making the noise of breathing. Isn't that interesting? Need to do a lot more breath work, huh? Yeah, indeed. I agree. But I don't know if anybody else has that situation, you know, if you felt that in the past. Of course, if you're commenting, I probably won't be able to read it because my comments don't appear. But please do make a comment and I will go back and read them later. And Grim's online, right?
Yeah, but I'm on the other platform.
Oh, you're on the other platform. Right. So, anyways, let me pour myself some tea and get this day started. I hope that you're all doing well. It is, as I mentioned, September 4th, 2024. And
Slow the pour down.
oh, I poured it all over the table. How did that happen?
Because that wasn't closed.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, hi, boy.
It's only water.
It's only water. It is. But it's doing funky things to the wax on the tabletop. Gotta love antiques, right? There. That was the silliest thing. So today is an As the Crow Flies Day. And they seem to be as the crow flies a lot these days. Because really, there's so much going on and there are so many different directions that we could go in our conversations that I really do leave it up to Spirit to dictate the direction. So let's close our eyes as we started to do a few minutes ago. If you can close them. If you're not in a safe place to do so, don't close your eyes. Take those good deep breaths on your own like we talked about. There's no course of measure, no count that you need to reach with your deep breaths, just your own deep breaths. I call upon our Mother, Father, God, Goddess energy, that divine spark that connection between all of us and everything. I call upon our own past lives, our future selves, our ancestors that stand as sentinels and guardians beside us, any from the Fae or angelic realms that may be here to help us take our next best step. I call upon plant, animal, and crystal allies. I call upon spirit guardians, totem animals, familiars that have crossed over. I call our energies to this time and space, this safe space, this safe haven that we've created together, where we as Purple Door Witches, as members of our community, can gather once in a while to share our energy, to share our insight, withstanding. I ask for your guidance and clarity, that the words I speak be the words that need to be heard, that resonate with folks. Allow our hearts and our minds to expand even further, to allow us to understand one another even more clearly than we already do. Help guide us toward this peace and harmonization in each daily breath that we take, remembering that we're all connected, all through Source. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it shall be. So, hey, what the hell are we going to talk about today? I know, I really wish I was seeing comments down there because I would love to have some input from some folks. But on the other hand, you know, we'll just see.
You're not seeing any comments at all?
No, it says comments will appear here. And then they don't appear. Anyways. Been thinking a lot about boundaries. We've talked about boundaries from time to time, you know? And one of the pitfalls, I guess, I fall into on occasion is that, and this is not me complaining, by the way, this is just a statement of fact, that through the years serving as high priestess of my coven and community, I've found myself in the capacity as teacher, as mentor to quite a large number of folks through the years. Many who are still with us here and join us here as we gather at 420 or any of our other online events that we do. And as a matter of fact, some of those folks have even joined us here physically in real life at the old church for some events that we've held. We hope to continue expanding that outward. But one of the things that I hear a lot from folks when they first start reaching out to me, when we first start talking, they talk about how much they mistrust the human race overall. A lot of folks that seek my guidance or Grimm's guidance, if they're doing shadow work or they're, you know, wanting a reading to help resolve some issue in their life, almost inevitably what comes around is how much they've been hurt by someone or other people, sometimes many people. Sometimes folks have been on the receiving end of quite a bit of bullfuckery through their entire lives. And when they reach adulthood, we wonder, you know, why we can't maintain decent friendships or close relationships with folks. And a lot of it traces back to we just literally don't know who to trust. And in today's day and age, it's even worse because now folks have the ability to present themselves online with filters and all sorts of other things, so that sometimes we don't even know if we're really looking at the real person or even experiencing their voice. It's getting more and more confounding all of the time. I don't know if y'all feel that way, but I surely do. And many of you that are gathered here, I know a lot of you are empaths like myself, and we find ourselves, if you don't already, and I'm sure most of you do, but if you don't already experience this, it definitely is probably coming down the pike, where people will come to you, seek your advice, seek your reset, your balance on whatever topic or issue that they might have in their mind. It might just mean that they need you to say a kind word or something to kind of, let them know, readjust that hat, lady, put it back on straight and get back out there. Sometimes that's all it is. But when folks come to you and seek your advice, you're bound to get to know them. You're bound, if you're a reader of any sort and you have repeat customers, you're bound to hear their stories and share in their happiness and sometimes their sorrows. It's part of the, I guess, job description, if you want to go there. It just is. And as helpers, as people who do reach out to heal other folks, we do our best, I think, to help them understand when we can. But I caution you as a tale of, this has happened to me way too many times, where I have encouraged someone to, open up with me. I've been there for them through many bumps and bruises and obstacles. But sometimes we get to a point, and I don't really understand it, but it almost feels as if the person says, I don't need you anymore, Gussie. And sometimes it's not those words. I would actually almost rather hear those words than be the recipient of some of the treatment that I've received over the last few years. Now, again, I'm not saying boo-hoo, poor me, because I know it comes with the territory. I know it comes with the territory. And when I first started on this journey, and many of you didn't know me back then in 2019 or whenever, I've been reading for much longer than that, but I really started focusing and basically gave my life over to the God Goddess, the universe, to use me as a vessel of, communication, sharing my wisdom, or lack thereof, and just really trying to help folks through some of the darker shadows that they find in their lives. I speak to spirits. I've been this way since I was a young girl, and that was always a gift that I was told to hide it and not talk about it too much. But really, over this last decade or so, I've really been able to open that part of myself up and be much more real to me. And people are drawn to that. People are drawn to our light. They're drawn to what we have to offer. They're drawn to know more. They want to know more. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. But once in a while, I'll run across someone who, I'll just say, does me wrong. And Grimm is very much like cut and dry, hey, you screwed up. Me, I keep opening the door. Not that I keep welcoming them back in, but I never really shut the door on anyone. I don't know why I do that. I guess I always give people ultra chances. But lately, you've heard me say this over the last several months, I'm really guarding my energy, where it goes and who it goes to. And my dear friend Patience had just posted something yesterday or the day before that that Susan actually shared with me that talked about normalizing letting go of friends who also support people who've hurt you in the past. Now think about that one for a minute. Normalize letting go of people who remain friends with folks that have hurt you in the past. I've never been one to want to dictate who talks to who. It's not my business who your friends are. It's not my business who you choose to hang around with or who your energy goes to. It's not my business. It's up to you to do that. But I do say it does feel odd when someone has done something in an unkind way, either verbally or somehow shared something, like I said, in an unkind way. And I tend to not respond to those things. I mean, they've happened through the years. Of course, they've happened through the years. And I used to be much worse. Just ask Susan or Grim. I would perseverate on it for days. If I disappointed somebody, if they turned their back on me or said something unkind or told me I was, I've heard all kinds of things through the years. I would take it so hard for days and punish myself, really. It took me a long time to finally get past that feeling of like I've just got to beat myself up about this to try to figure out what I did wrong. And really, what's come to mind over the last few days, when actually this happened to me again recently, someone that I had let in close to my inner circle, that I was guiding, has decided that I'm no longer valuable to them. I guess that's the way to put it. And the thing is that's their problem, not mine. I cannot let my light dim because of someone else's dimness, if that makes sense. I cannot allow myself, and neither should you, to fall trap when someone says something to you that it hits you right in the feels and you go, oh, like there's a ring of truth to something they've said or they've done. But when you really analyze it, take it back to the very root of it, you are not it's not your burden to bear. It's not your burden to bear. Unburden yourself, like Kamala says. Unburden past. You don't need to hang on to old hurts that people have brought to you, mostly out of their own broken egos and their own lack of sacrifice. Instead of turning their hand toward you and saying, you've done such wonderful things for me and we're such good friends, let me help you now. A lot of people just turn away and say, don't have time for this, don't have time to deal with it. Unfortunately, this also happens within the pagan community, within the healing circles of our pagan community. We are not above that human behavior at all. We are not above it. All we can really do is guard ourselves daily. And I do this daily. I know that a lot of us, if you're a witch like me, Grim and I have wards on the property. I have sigils and different protection spells, a crystal grid. We have all sorts of things in our physical space. And on a daily, I do maintenance on my own wards and protections for me. And I'm sure Grim does for himself as well. I hope you do too. One of those one of those easy protection spells that you guys have heard me talk about before, but I'm just going to reiterate it. A lot of us, when we get up in the morning, get our day started, one of the things that we hopefully do, most of us, is brush our teeth. That's one of the things that's on the list. When I am brushing my teeth and finished in the mirror, I will look at myself deeply in the eyeballs, and I will tell myself that we are protected, that we are clear from negative energy, that we are going out amongst people, and only those which really need, whose lives I really need to know about or be influenced by, that those are the people that I interact with today.
Only those that serve our greatest and highest good are welcome within the energetic vibration of my home and my soul and my family's souls.
Did you guys hear that? That's exactly right. You might want to say it again, Grandma. Say it louder.
Only the energies that best serve myself, my property, my heart, my soul, and the soul of my family may enter the vibrational realm of my existence. All other energies that do not serve my greatest and highest good are cast away back to source, reflected back to those that cast it with intention.
Every night when Grim and I lie down to go to sleep, he sleeps on my left side, and we hold hands, and I always put my right hand on the side of the bed, kind of over the edge a little bit, forgetting about the under the bed monster. He doesn't bother me anymore. And I put my hand on the edge, and I imagine that I close my eyes and I imagine all of this negative energy just being lifted away from me. I imagine that it is being returned back to whoever sent it, wherever it came from, recycled back to the universe, that I don't need to hold on to thoughts or words or even actions that were thrown in my direction in a negative or uncaring or unfeeling way. I have the ability to deflect those and to get rid of them in the evening. I know it seems like sometimes you just fall into bed and you're so tired you just want to like close your eyes, and sometimes that happens too.
Is that what you put your hand over the side of the bed and you do your...
Yeah, I do my unwinding. I do a counterclockwise unwinding, holding Grim's hand, and I just let go of whatever no longer serves us. Grim does that as well, but on a larger scale. He walks the property at night in a counterclockwise fashion, unwinding and undoing. People's energy, when you're an empath, people's energy can really, really be a heavy burden to bear if you don't know how to unwind it and let it go. Sometimes we take on people's energy. We've used this story before too. There's like, imagine you're at a grocery store and you're standing in line and there's a woman with a crying toddler in her grocery cart. And she looks frazzled and exhausted, and she's counting money in her wallet, and you can tell that, you know, it's just been kind of a day, and the baby's screaming. And for just a moment, you go there and you are her, and you know what it feels like, and you remember, and you share it. And she looks at you and maybe gives a little smile, and you smile back, and you're back to yourself. But for that split second, you gave a part of yourself to that woman to say, I feel you, I see you, I understand. That's part of the role of the empath, is to allow other people to be seen and heard. In the process of that, we have to protect ourselves. In the process of that, we cannot open ourselves to just anyone who comes knocking at the door. That's the discerning part that is very difficult for me. Knowing when most of these folks come knocking, they're broken, they're hurting, and they're not exactly at their next best step level. They're not there yet. They're searching for it. They're wanting it. And so I meet people who are broken, who are damaged, who are hurting, who need help. And I reach out. But at some point along the way, after that, after we've connected and after they've started healing, somewhere along the way, I missed the cue of when to pull my energy back. And that's what I'm working on right now. That's what I'm working on, is how to know. You know, I'm always telling you guys, trust your intuition, right? Trust your instinct. And I do for the most part, but I still stumble. And this is one of those areas that I stumble.
Well, is it a case of you're just still trying to find the words that can be heard by the person you're talking to in such a way that it connects? It's not giving up on trying to find that balance.
No, I don't give up. I do continue searching. And as long as that person needs me, I'm there. But at the same time, it's at cost of my own happiness, my own emotional stability sometimes. And I know that this is not something that's just happening to me. I know that this happens to other witches, other folks, other readers out there. And so, you know, be cautious of where you spend your energy. If you feel like when you're finished talking to someone, you tend to feel tired, drained, or before you go into the conversation, you feel yourself going, oh boy, you know, like, okay, gotta gird my loins for this one. Those are really like telltale, really obvious signs to me. Those ones I don't generally miss, but it's the ones where it's a more subtle cutting feeling that I'm talking about. And I certainly hope you don't experience that, but I think it's kind of a human thing. I think we've all felt at one point maybe used or misused, or somehow ourselves not seen or heard, dismissed maybe is the word. I hope you don't find yourself in that category, but I know most of us have at one point or another. I think it's part of the process of being human in this lifetime. But how can we get through this together, and how can we not repeat? I don't want to repeat that pattern. I want myself to be in my strong space as much as possible, not giving away my energy and then having the rug pulled out from under me when I least expect it. Let's look at the card that just popped out today. I'm using my Dark Mansion Tarot. It's the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. So we are definitely on a mission, are we not? We are definitely, we've been given an assignment in this lifetime. We've been given an assignment, and we are attempting to carry that assignment through. Sometimes we have a clear path in front of us. We've talked about that before. Sometimes we feel like the path isn't exactly clear, but we have enough clues, enough synchronicity from the universe that we know we're at least headed in the right direction. I know that it can feel like a very far off accomplishment. Maybe what you have in your mind right now, it's exciting and you're really like looking forward to that next step, but all the little components that have to kind of fit in place before you can move forward in this aspect, you're just worried that something is going to crumble, because usually when something this good starts to come along, it doesn't last for long. But what about this time if it does? What about this time you can see the end of the path, and you can see that reward at the end, and you can actually get there without a lot of pitfalls? The Knight of Pentacles is saying, in spite of the vibrations that might be coming along to hold you back, put you down, or put you in another place, in spite of those setbacks, keep on keeping on. Keep moving forward. Yes, it might get hard. We've talked about that. We all know it might not be the easiest path, but the path is there nonetheless. Don't let yourself lose sight of that path. And for some of you, I'm referring to the path, and I'm talking about your spirituality. I know that over the last several months, things that have happened in our lives, busy. You know, a lot of us have kids and we've been getting ready to go back to school or whatever the fall time means for you. It is a new moon yesterday, right? We are on the fringes of that energy of transition and change, moving things forward with a new perspective. It's time to be that Knight of Pentacles and go out riding. Don't wait back at the castle waiting for something or someone to tell you what to do. You head out on your own and make sure you find your path. All right. Just a few notes of business before I say adieu for the day. Don't forget, at 9 p.m. your time, wherever you live, I don't care if you live in Sri Lanka or Alaska or wherever you live, 9 p.m. your time. Take a minute to close your eyes like we did earlier today. Take a few deep breaths, calm yourself, clear your space, and imagine that peace and harmony is just emanating from you. You are like a little shining light of peace and harmony. Close your eyes and imagine that glow. Is it a purple glow? It might be a purple glow. Sometimes mine is. Imagine that you're sharing that light, that energy, that vibration with all of those around you, all of those that your life influences, and beyond. May that light touch the hearts and the minds of the people that need it the most. This is an ongoing effort that we've been doing at the Purple Door for several years now. I think we're going on 3, but we always lose count, of pausing for peace at 9 p.m. your time. If you have a chance, go on the Purple Door at 9 p.m. and jot down what time you paused or what you were thinking about or what your intentions are. It's always good to get feedback like that, and plus it helps our algorithm, to be quite honest. Don't forget that on the 28th of this month of September, Grim and I are planning on doing a Purple Door Witch Wave, which we didn't get to do last month because I was ill, but hopefully September 28th is a go. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And other than that, just, stay involved as much as you can. Remember, I know we're feeling all a little separate from each other. I know that the powers that be would have us feel more pulled apart than ever before. But let's remember, withstanding, right? We're here together. We're not here alone. We're going through it together, and we'll get through it.
Hashtag withstanding.
Hashtag withstanding. All right, y'all. I love you so much. I hope you have a blessed evening, and I hope you stay magical. Bye.